In this video, I'm going to show you how Zadon and I helped our client Ethan go from being stuck at 4K months to hitting over 23K months with his fitness coaching business in just 60 days of working together. It's also how Savannah went from doing 2K a month to hitting over 15K in her first 2 weeks of working with us. How Rodney went from doing 6K a month to collecting over 30K in cash in just 90 days of working together. And how a bunch of their friends went from not knowing what to do with coaching to not having a job anymore, not doing this on the side, not having to go to school, so that they can be fully locked in with coaching, serving their clients, charging high ticket, and feeling good about it. So let's get into it. This is how Ethan went from doing 4K a month to hitting over 23K a month in just 60 days. So his growth was planned, meaning that we knew that if he signed the same amount of clients, he would make 6 times as much. This was all without going viral, doing any cold outreach, dropping his prices, or spending hours in the DMs, because we actually hired an appointment setter, so we didn't spend any time in the DMs. But this video breaks down everything I did to get into that point. No gatekeeping, no fluff, just breaking it down fully. And some stats to go over is that we only had 1 setter on the account at any given time, and we had 8 new clients. So we had the same amount of clients as the month previous where you did 4K, but we just charged more and had the same amount of clients so that we could do 6 times as much. And so Ethan wasn't the only one who made it out. He introduced me to a bunch of his friends, and lo and behold, the results speak for themselves, that we were able to accomplish everything with just doing the same strategies as we implemented for Ethan. Because the truth is that it just takes a handful of one-on-one calls and all of the information we've documented to be delivered before these calls, so that we can review everything and we can just get into actually growing the fitness business. I have to give a shout out to Aiden, because he was the first guy that I worked with in November, and he actually is responsible for me getting introduced to all of his friends and letting me help them. So thank you, Aiden, bro. Moving on, I'm going to get into kind of where I came from and why I feel like I know what I'm talking about. So in 2024, I was wrapping cars making around 3K a month before I transitioned into doing 12K months by being a closer for a bunch of coaches in the info industry. But here's a picture of me wrapping a Rivian, and even though I was working with some of the most luxurious cars and going to work every single day with some of my closest friends, I never found any fulfillment doing it, and I was always looking for more. And so this is a picture of me wrapping my mom's car. This was like one of the last days before I left the shop. But in January of 2025, I transitioned into a full stack agency scaling fitness coaches. I moved to Thailand and partnered with 5 different fitness coaches, moved into the dope villa that had an incredible view out of my bedroom, and was going to see elephants every other week, feeding tigers. It was some of the best decision I've ever made, because I just really needed to get out. But now, fast forward to June of 2025, I am now running a 30K a month profit business, generated over $500,000 in client revenue just for fitness coaches. I'm working with 30 plus different fitness influencers, managing over 10 setters. We've booked over 3,000 calls. This is me staying in a place in Chiang Mai and getting on group calls with all of the coaches here. Making sure that this is worth you listening to. This is you, probably, is that you can get your clients' results, no question. Your business resets at the start of every month. You don't know where your next client is coming from. And you want to scale past 50K a month without hustling away. This isn't for you if you're super lazy. If you don't want to actually do the work, then it's not for you. If you're afraid of charging high ticket, if you don't want to take sales calls, and if you're half in, half out trying to be a coach, just realize that you have to pick something. So if you want to go to school, go do that. If you want to do coaching, then fully lock in and realize that you have to actually be delusional to get to the place that you want to get to. And so if 5K, 10K is your first delusional goal, then let me be the first to tell you that that's not very delusional. Let's just get to that goal so that we can start being delusional, because that is very realistic. And if you're already at 100K a month, then this is probably gonna show you a few things, but you're probably mostly doing them. So what we did here is we separated this into 2 choices. Is that there's the wannabe coach who's always chasing clients instead of attracting them, doing a bunch of ineffective outbound, reaching out to cold leads, churning out content like it's the only thing you know how to do, but you're just copying all the viral posts that you're seeing. If you're a one-man band, lone wolf who wants to do this by himself, and you give unlimited access for $300 a month. The right way to do it is that you get less clients that pay more so that you're able to focus on them and actually deliver them incredible results. You know exactly what to post to get qualified leads, You're actually a business owner who has team members under you. You've dialed in systems and a funnel for your client journey so everything's predictable. And then you're able to scale your income each month. And so the client maxing ecosystem model is what we've come up with that actually lets you do all of this. And this is what I'm actually going to explain in the video. To recap of who we're going to talk about is that Ethan Downey now has consistent 20K months. He doesn't rely on going viral, and he only works with his dream clients. To make sure that we all understand exactly what he needed fixing and how we approached it, is that he wasn't able to pass 4K a month. Scaling meant that he had to trade time, energy, and freedom to make more money. He was spending hours in the DMs talking to a bunch of unqualified leads that didn't really lead to anything, even if he did hop on a call with them. And he was working harder than ever for no return. And so what changed is that we started getting messages like this in the chat. Leo for $2,500. He had a $7,500 day. 21K in Feb and March because we started working in like the last 3 days of February. And he consistently has like 7K weeks. This is a little bit messy, but the breakdown of everything that we're gonna go over right now is that we made sure that his offer was ready to take to the market. We made sure that his service was amazing so that people would talk about it and that he would be able to take his clients through a journey that wasn't going to overwhelm him and make his clients just absolutely drop their jaws in value. We had to optimize his socials with his paid in full profile, show him how to become a business owner so that he had team members under him helping him out, how to generate leads, and this is all just strategy because the main sauce is actually consistency. We had a trained appointment setter come into his business, collecting high ticket prices, leveraging results, and making sure that we had a world-class delivery and a referral system so that we can make the most out of all the work that we were doing. Breaking each of those down right now is that a market-ready offer consists of what you really offer, right? It's important to know what you technically offer because this is actually to make you sound like an expert and an authority. But the biggest difference that you're gonna have to make is just think about that in order to charge high ticket, there's only so much that someone's gonna pay for a meal plan or a training plan. You need to offer a transformation that is big enough for them to feel like they should invest 2 to 3K to 5K into themselves and into you to get them to this transformation. This needs to be a strong, desirable offer that is viewed as the best and only solution for your interested leads. It has a strong how explanation, but also the strong why explanation, because the how is only going to go deep into what actually means to them. And so you sell the outcome and the transformation. This is why it's so important to listen to the answers to the questions that you ask for your prospects on the call. They're going to tell you exactly what and why they want. Then it's your job to help them take that step to change and help them relay everything that they just told you into a big moment for them to make a decision on the call with you. And so what you technically offer is important to know so that you can tell someone how they will achieve the result. But it's crucial that you keep this as concise and intentional as possible so that you can move on to what you really sell, which is what you really offer, the transformation. And so the next thing is that we need to build an amazing service so that you fluidly go through, you're able to collect all of the necessary data on your onboarding form so that you can create your top tier training plans and meal plans, be able to deliver them quickly, and have a weekly fulfillment schedule so you know what you're doing for your clients every single week. The thing about Ethan is that we decided that Thursday and Sunday was going to be his client check-in days. This way he's able to send looms to every single client covering what he's updated on their meal and training plans, and then get on to have that face-to-face time for about 10 minutes with each client every single week so they feel taken care of. And so next we're going to get into prepping our social pages and creating a content conversion ecosystem that is better than any website that you can create. And so as soon as I started thinking about social platforms like landing pages, everything started to change because think about it. You could have all of your client results in your highlights with even like people's names, right? Talking about whose lives you changed. We found that having a type form in the bio is the best for actually getting leads so that the appointment setter can reach out to. Obviously, it's important to have these things like the authoritative bio and professional profile picture, but this is where you're going to connect and communicate to most of your clients, is Instagram. And so we need to be attracting, nurturing, and converting these dream clients on this landing page. The goal here is to stand out and make sure that if anyone comes to your page, they would clearly see that you're an authority, that you have the testimonials and the social proof, and that you'd be able to help them too. Once your content starts to have an effect, your setter is going to start to book in qualified leads to sales calls from here. Moving on to YouTube, this is actually where like 30 to 40% of clients start to come from, is from YouTube. because we repost everything to YouTube Shorts. But we all know that someone who spent 20 minutes with you is 10 times more likely to buy from you. This is your opportunity to make the most out of your content and make sure that your potential customers like and trust you more. And then you also have the opportunity to have your pinned YouTube video a VSL or a free training. It's kind of like how this all worked. You know, I had a teaser in my Instagram talking about how I was going to break down Ethan's strategy, and it led you to this YouTube video. And so following the reel strategy on Instagram is that there's 3 types of reels. There's awareness reels that are a broader type of content that gets eyeballs, new people into the content conversion cycle, and we're meant to go viral with these, trying to. But it's not super important. This is just to attract eyeballs. What's super important is that the people that come to your page get nurtured, and you're able to build authority with giving valuable tips, educating while showing that you know what you're talking about. Then we get into the bottom of funnel content, which is conversion reels. This is going to be talking head. This is going to be you giving out free value, you showing what your clients are doing in a way where it's really call to action, trying to get them to take action with this type of content. And so breaking what we did in Instagram story strategy is that this is all very, very simple stuff. Like, you just rearrange what days you do this, but all of this is just client wins, free value. These are examples, right? We get into doing only polls some days, because if you only post one time, then for some reason Instagram gives you a bunch of viewers to the only thing that you post. Wednesday, we have a free value CTA, which is also only a single story. Thursday, we have an Ask Me Anything, which gives you an opportunity to connect with your clients and show that you actually have all of the knowledge to all of their questions. It allows you to build rapport as well. On Friday, we post a poll and either give more free value that is related to that poll. So let's say if you're doing what's your current physique, skinny, fat, jacked, overweight, the next post can be, if you said you were skinny fat, then here's a gift for how I was able to overcome that. Or you just start posting about what you're doing so to build rapport and build authenticity. Saturday, we have client wins and lifestyle. So leveraging your client results, actually putting a story and a name to the face, and then talking about how you were able to achieve that. And then the Sunday story post uses the hook, story, sell format. So this is just a bunch of context talking about how I'm managing setters. Then the reality is that it's not very easy to find a setter. And then if you're looking for a setter, go ahead and DM me setter and I'll send you all the resources you need. But all of that leads into you becoming a CEO. So you're at the top of this business, and the people that you're going to have under you is the setter and a shadow coach and an outreach VA. So breaking down what each of those roles are is that an appointment setter turns story views into likes and profile visits into booked calls by having these one-on-one conversations with your followers, qualifying them, and then booking a call in with you. The shadow coach allows you to manage your clients rather than you being tied down to the fulfillment, and making sure that somebody else is adjusting and making these plans while you're having a bird's eye view on your entire business. And the outreach VA is such a play. This is somebody that goes and does all of the beginning level of outreach, sending all those first messages to the qualified leads, so that your setter can focus on cherry picking the better leads and also showing love to all the leads that have booked in calls, making them much more likely to show up. And so once you have all that dialed in, this is going to be your sales team dynamic. You're going to have your setter booking in the calls and you collecting the cash. And this relationship has to be like big brother, little brother. You really need to take care of your setter, making sure that you're the face of the brand and you're letting them book you in qualified calls so that you can collect high ticket transformations. So the sales process looks like the setter connecting on all types of interactions that are going to happen on your Instagram. They're going to use a DM emotional impulse framework to actually build rapport with the clients, build trust so that they can book you in the calls. And then we have a pre-call nurture sequence that gives all the information needed so that they show up on the call pre-sold. And the call should only take 45 minutes and you're collecting high ticket. So how to generate leads for setting is that we're going to talk about the reel strategy again, because this has involved the stories and reels. But sales always falls behind at least 30 days of consistent lead generation. So what this means is that when we have a consistent flow of all of this type of content, we're making sure that every time somebody books a call, they're getting led to free training or VSL or a pre-call video, then the nurture content is going to warm them up, and the call to action conversion content gets them in your inbox. So a clear visual representation of that is once we have the content conversion cycle that we just covered, lead's going to engage, they're going to book, they're going to go through the pre-call nurture sequence, then a reminder workflow. This is an example of Calendly, where we have 24 hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes, and immediately when they book a call, they're going to get emails and texts with value and reminders of them getting the call. And then we're going to have a high show rate and a high close rate. And the way we do that is we keep track of everything with a Discord. And so before you start getting on calls, we prepare you so that you're confidently able to get onto a sales call with a framework that gives certainty how to build rapport and exactly what the people want you to pitch them. This is how we were able to take Ethan from just doing 4K to hitting over 23K, because he was spending like 10 minutes on his calls. That was fully like him building rapport, to him pitching, to him trying to close, to him handling objections. And now he takes between 30 to 45 minutes, but there needs time to build this trust and build rapport when you're asking somebody for 2 to 5K. And so we do that, building out the lead tracking system, making sure that you know exactly who you spoke to, why you spoke to them, and if anything they don't close, then we're able to follow up with them later. Showing you how me and Zidane have collected over $2.5 million in our careers as high-ticket sales guys. We review your calls one-to-one and give you feedback, because there's nothing better than watching footage of yourself trying to close so that you can just learn from it. Think of how you play sports, right? The best way to learn is just watching you play. So then your close rate is going to go up by 3 to 7%. So this is an example of us getting on a group call where we're reviewing one of Ryan Shaw's calls, and everyone's there to give feedback to it. So we're all a team, everybody wants you to win. And lastly, the paid in full protocol is that we just use a partnered payment processor to plug in finance to our deals. And so if a client can't pay in full, we leverage the processor and get them financed so that we get paid upfront and in full, and the client still gets the privilege of being able to make those monthly payments. So then this is the actual sauce, is the 3 R's to make 30K a month fitness coaching. This is how you're going to turn one client into 3. And it's all just about leveraging referrals and getting clients to renew, because it's so much easier to get somebody that's already paid you to do business with you again, or get people to do business with you. And so when you start coaching, I'm going to give you an example, is that if you sign 10 clients on 3-month programs and make 15K, then in a month, 5 of those clients you could get to renew, and the other 5 you could get them to refer you clients, so that you're just tripling the amount that you're able to make. And then this all comes with leverage. So in your service delivery, this is going to be the key times where you're going to want to ask for these referrals or for them to renew. When you onboard them and get started, this is the best time to ask for a referral. When you deliver results and you're documenting the journey, this is the best time to ask for a testimonial. Or when they have a huge win, you can ask for a testimonial as well. Then when they have their success call and you plant the seed of their next goal, because when you have somebody that's about to finish their program, you don't want to ask them to renew like 2 days after their due date's coming up. Psychologically, you want to ask someone like a week or 2 prior to them finishing up, giving them the next goals and planting that seed that they should renew. And so then the program is going to finish and the client's going to renew, and they're going to give you a testimonial. And so if you've made it this far, you're probably now wondering how you can apply this to your coaching program. If you're in any of these situations, you're starting out, you're feeling lost, or you've built your audience but struggling to monetize it, you already have a few clients, you're unable to consistently scale your business, you're getting quality leads but it feels impossible to close them, you're not able to charge high prices, you're not working with your dream clients yet, or you've hit a plateau, and every single month you're chasing new clients, then go to my Instagram and DM me freedom. I'm going to personally reach out. It's not an automation, so the least I can do is send a voice note and give you some free value. And if it makes sense, then we can map out what a potential collaboration look like. But this is how Ethan was able to scale. The 90 days that he worked with us, he posted 76 times. He had 122 stories. We booked him 98 calls He had 33 closes, and he collected over $72,000 in those 90 days. As well as all of his friends were able to do this very similar type transformations. And so if any of that interests you, go to my page, DM me Freedom, and we'll look what a potential collaboration will look like. Peace.